Armenian king. I again found him on Quick Battle. Been finding him on Quick Battle a lot these days. But I guess that's probably because I'm playing more Quick Battle. But anyways, I've matched up against him. I took Odrysian Kingdom and he decided to take Egypt. And it's going to be a very weird build from both of us in this game, so it should be really interesting. Actually, this game is probably one of the closest games that I've fought in recent memory. So with Odrysian Kingdom, I've brought a total of 3 Thracian cavalry, the Javelin cavalry. I've also brought a total of 3 Thracian bowmen, who are going to be placed up in front. I've gone with a whole lot of cavalry, a total of 4 Thracian royal cavalry and a couple of Thracian horsemen. And for my infantry front, I've brought 2 mercenary Dacian spearmen, a total of 4 Thracian warriors and 1 Thracian noble unit. So only 1 Thracian noble is kind of unorthodox. You never see that from an Odrysian Kingdom build. You at least see 2 or 3. But the reason I brought only 1 of them is because they're really glass cannons, glass cannon type of units. They don't really justify they can very easily not justify their cost, because they can get slaughtered on a rear charge. Here my Thracian royal cavalry, Thracian cavalry are getting slaughtered by his Egyptian infantry. He's brought 5 of these units. 3 of them are going to be kept in front. 1 of them is chasing after my other Thracian cavalry, and 1 of them is over here. Very nice unit because they have access to javelins, and they flung those javelins and killed off the Thracian cavalry here. This one is chasing after my Thracian cav here, and I'm going to use the excellent melee stats that these units have to just charge in and sandwich these units very, very quickly, and then pull away before the rest of his units can come into support. He's brought 2 Egyptian cavalry, one of whom is chasing after my Thracian cavalry, and you can see his Egyptian infantry haven't really taken a lot of damage from that attack. So he's got 2 Egyptian cavalry. He's also brought a total of 4 Galatian swordsmen, 2 on either flank, a couple of Nubian spearmen, one of whom is also chasing after my Thracian cavalry. And I'm moving really close in front of my Thracian cavalry here. They're about to get some more javelins there. I'm just trying to take advantage of this little gap to try and shoot at his really powerful units, because he's brought a total of 4 Galatian Royal Guard and 1 Royal Thorax Swordsman. So a very barbarian rush-ish Egyptian build, and he specifically brought this to try and counter the expected barbarian rush from Odrysian Kingdom, but I brought a ton of cavalry instead. So yeah, Stonehenge, I have a pretty decent downhill advantage here. Not a very balanced map, I'd say. And you can even see the downhill advantage from here. It's not too apparent, but I mean, it's definitely there, and it definitely helps me. So far my Thracian cavalry have, 2 of them are at full strength, 1 of them is all the way down to 47 units. They haven't really done much damage either. 13 kills with one, 9 with the other, and 0 with the last. But if I can get some good shots onto his very low armored Egyptian cavalry who only have 50 armor, I can probably recuperate the cost of these units very easily and very quickly. But he's going to pull up in front, and he's again using the screening tactic with his 5 Egyptian infantry. Again, very smart move, and it's always a good move to bring these units. They even cost less than an Eastern spearman unit. Actually, they're probably the best unit now that I think about it to screen off javelin cavalry. Cheaper than Levy Freeman. They have javelins. They'll die just as easily as Levy Freeman though, and they're much better than Eastern Spearmen because Eastern Spearmen don't have javelins. So I'm forced to pull back with one of my Thracian cavalry here. The other 2 Thracian cavalry are all the way behind, and I'm going to move up in front here. I still have a pretty decent chance at this game because Thracian Royal Cavalry have a very nice charge bonus, and couple that with Galatian Royal Guard, they're not very defensive units. So I could probably get a lot of kills on the charge if I can, frontal charge with these units and then immediately follow up with my Thracian warriors onto his Galatian Royal Guard. Then I would have basically won me the game. But on the other hand, if he uses his Egyptian infantry well, which he most likely will, use them to move up front and then screen off my initial charge, then the game is basically lost because the Odrysian Kingdom really depend on their charge to win them the game. Here my Thracian bowmen are going to start shooting at his Egyptian infantry. Very poor bowmen. Look at the shots per minute that they have. It's one of the lowest shots per minute. I think it's even lower than the Hellenic archers. So yeah, the only reason I brought them is to have some sort of a long-range component in my game. If he decided to bring Rhodian slingers or Cretan archers, these units would have gotten slaughtered, but at least they would have gotten some kills in the process, I would say. And kind of gives me a slight bit of versatility, but just not enough, I think. Now, thinking back in hindsight, it's just not enough. So I'm going to again try and charge into his units. His Egyptian infantry got a great javelin volley off on my Thracian cavalry. I'm forced to pull back because again he's coming in with his Egyptian cavalry here. Again another volley with his Egyptian infantry, just having no space to do what I want to do or what I need to do with these Thracian cavalry. They're going to get charged at by Egyptian cavalry here. and this Thracian cavalry is basically done. I need to try and tie down his units, and I'm not doing a very good job of that. And my Thracian cavalry, meanwhile, are just getting slaughtered. Just 34 units left in one. But while his Egyptian cavalry and a lot of his infantry are going to be chasing away my units, I'm going to rush in front with my main line. I'm also going to charge in with my Thracian cavalry here just to tie down his units, but it's not a good move just because of the timing. I charged in far too quickly here. I should have waited at least 3 or 4 seconds before I charged in, so that I could bog down these units while my infantry came in, so that he couldn't kite back. But he's killed them off very quickly, and he's going to be able to kite back with his units and create a lot of distance between his screening force and his main line. So I'm again forced to pull back with my infantry, and now that he's come back with his Egyptian cavalry, I'm again forced to pull back with my Thracian bowmen as well. So again, reform my lines back to square one for me, except I don't have a Thracian cavalry here, and I have 2 pretty depleted Thracian cavalry on the flanks. Well, one on the rear, one on his left flank. So mercenary Dacian spears are going to be kept up in front just to protect against his charge. His Galatian Royal Guard don't have the best charge. 32 charge bonus actually is very good. But you know, if I can use these units as a charge bait, then that'll be perfect for me. He's going to have to charge up in front with his units if he wants to win this game. So in that sense, the mercenary Dacian spears can actually do a pretty decent job. Galatian swordsmen are not a good pick, I would say. I don't think they're good units in general. Thracian warriors will summarily destroy them, I would say. Poor armor that these units have, coupled with the fact that they don't even have any decent, weapons. Like, they don't have falxes like these Thracian warriors do. And their charge bonus is even lower. Melee defense is pretty poor. Health is pretty poor. But I mean, these are pretty cheap units, but I just don't think they're good enough at this stage of the game. They used to be good before, but now that the meta has changed and the way the game works has changed, I don't think these units are very good. Instead, I would bring Carrion Axemen, just so that they can throw their javelins. So now he's going to rush up in front with his Egyptian line, and I'm going to pull back with my forces, just leave my mercenary Dacian spears here, just to bog down some of his units, and try and get it so that his forces have to engage me piecemeal. And I'm also going to charge in with my Thracian horsemen here onto his Egyptian infantry and onto his Nubian spearmen, bog them down, hold them down over here. His Egyptian infantry will be charging into my Dacian spears, and I'm going to focus fire with my 3 Dacian bowmen onto his Royal Thorax swordsmen. These units have very poor armor for an elite tier unit. AD armor is very, very poor. Especially for a Hellenic unit. They're going to get slaughtered while they're pulling back. Thracian horsemen here getting slaughtered because they got javelin to the face. But here I'm going to charge in with my Thracian Royal Cav for a second charge, kill off a lot of his Galatian swordsmen and a lot of his Nubian spearmen, more importantly. And you can see 39 kills right off the charge for a melee cav unit is brilliant. I'm going to move to the side with my Thracian Royal Cav General. I'm going to do the same thing over there, and I'm going to charge in with my Thracian warriors here onto his Egyptian infantry and destroy them, and onto his Egyptian infantry over there as well. His Egyptian infantry are actually losing out to my mercenary Dacian spears here, which is absolutely incredible. His Royal Thorax swordsmen are all the way down to 90 men here. I'm going to charge into Galatian swordsmen and 2 Galatian swordsmen with 2 Thracian warriors. I don't think they got a proper charge off. My Thracian noble is still at the rear of this engagement so far. 50 kills with 10 casualties on these units, 30 kills without a single casualty with the other. And his Royal Thorax swordsmen are all the way down to 72 men at this point. His Galatian Royal Guard have come in to attack, and they're going to summarily destroy my Thracian warriors. But I'm carrying rear charges with my Thracian Royal Cavalry right now onto his Nubian spearmen, just killing off that threat that they possess. And his Egyptian cavalry actually are going to make use of the space that I provided and just charge into my Dacian bowmen, which is pretty bad for me because they were doing a lot of damage onto those Royal Thorax. So I'm going to try and charge in with my Thracian nobles to counteract that. But it's not like they're going to do too much. I'm instead I should just try and focus on sniping off his general. Meanwhile, my Thracian Royal Cavalry are getting good charges off, 82 kills, 85 kills without taking a single casualty with some of these units. My general has got 56 kills. They're going to rear charge these Galatian Royal Guard. But the point is, the unfortunate thing is that his routing units are actually creating a lot of collision with my charging cavalry, which means that my charge is not going to be as effective. Here, full strength Thracian nobles are going to charge into some really depleted Royal Thorax swordsmen who really haven't done anything in the game so far. 87 kills just on mercenary Dacian spears, and they are going to get slaughtered by Thracian nobles. But he's coming in to support with Galatian Swordsman and Galatian Royal Guard. Here I'm going to pull out with some of my Thracian Royal Cavalry and just cycle charge with my general while the other unit is pulling out. On his left flank, my Thracian Royal Cavalry are still at full strength, and my Thracian warriors, after doing a pretty decent amount of damage, are going to get slaughtered by his Galatian Royal Guard. I'm getting rear shots with my Thracian Cavalry, I believe. No, I turned off fire at will, which means that they're not getting any decent shots. But I'm also getting rear charges with Thracian Royal Cavalry onto his Galatian Royal Guard. His general is basically done at this point. 29 units left. And the general hasn't died yet, which is huge. His Egyptian cavalry are starting to die now. I'm not really sure what caused or how they're dying, which is kind of strange. I'm not really sure what happened there. My general, though, has lost a lot of men because they again got a javelin volley from those Egyptian infantry. Very pesky units. Royal Thorax Swordsman starting to waver here, which is good for me. My Thracian nobles are going to get flank charged by Galatian Royal Guard, which is terrible for them because obviously their low melee defense along with the Oathsworn level melee combat skills of these Galatian Royal Guard means that these Thracian nobles will get slaughtered very soon. Thracian cavalry is starting to get some kills here. I'm pulling out cycle charging with my Thracian Royal Cavalry, just trying to destroy a lot of his Galatian swordsmen. These units are only medium melee infantry, so they'll get slaughtered on the charge. These Galatian swordsmen are not, looking very good. Thracian nobles here with 138 kills. Oops, sorry about that. Anyways, I'm going to get some rear charges with my general onto the rear of his Galatian Royal Guard here. You can see they've actually done really well. 66 kills with some, 89, 151. These are not very great kills in numbers, but they've been killing off a lot of pretty high value units. My Thracian Royal Cavalry here, only one of them is at full strength. My general is at half strength at this point. And I've got two basically full strength units. Meanwhile, he's got Galatian Royal Guard, a lot of them at full strength basically. But the fact is that once I keep rear charging his units, then they'll start taking a lot of casualties. My Thracian nobles has to stay on for a little bit longer, but I can't really expect them to do that because they don't have any great melee defense. 176 kills, triple chevron. They've done pretty well, so I can't really be too mad at them. Here, full strength Thracian Royal Cavalry charging into these Galatian Royal Guard. Their general has died. My general is alive. Again, another reason why you should bring Thracian Royal Cavalry. You never should use a Thracian noble general. Very glass cannon units. I'm going to charge into his Galatian Royal Guard. They managed to get a pretty decent javelin volley onto my units. But the strength of the charge that these units have, coupled with their excellent melee attack, is going to start showing here. Getting a lot of kills on the charge and the few seconds immediately falling up. And now I'm going to get another charge here with my Thracian Royal Cavalry. I need to time it well because he can start getting a lot of javelin volleys on my units, like you can see here, and they are taking a lot of casualties. Meanwhile, I'm going to chase after one of his retreating Egyptian cavalry with one of my Thracian horsemen. I was using my general for that purpose, but there's no point in doing that. Let them charge into the more expensive and the more highly valued Galatian Royal Guard. These units are in a pretty big blob here, which is perfect for me because I can very easily surround him. My Thracian cavalry really haven't done much in this game so far. One of them has done pretty decent, 39 kills with one. The other one only 14 kills. But I'm going to charge in here, pop second wind on my general, getting another charge, 130 kills, single experience chevron. But they'll start racking up the kills, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, you can see they're starting to rack up the kills here on some really high value units. I mean, 5 kills on Galatian Royal Guard on a charge is pretty good. And that's mainly because they are with their HP has been pretty depleted so far. But double chevron on one, single chevron on the rest, I believe. Yeah, double chevron on two. So yeah, they've done really well. And these Thracian Royal Cavalry are not cataphracts, so it's not like they would get like 300 to 400 kills on whatever unit you charge them into. But they are definitely a pretty very decent unit. So that's why I always try and use them, and they add so much versatility to the roster of Odrysian Kingdom. Now I'm popping wedge on all of them, and I was about to charge in, but I fainted. What I'm going to do is I'm going to sacrifice this Thracian cavalry, tie down all of his units, and then while these units are about to die, I'm going to charge in with my Thracian cavalry, which means that these Galatian Royal Guard won't be able to fire their javelins. I think this is a pretty decisive move, pretty smart move from my from my side, tooting my own horn over there. But I'm going to pop battle rhythm here, getting a rear charge with my general, and yeah, the kills really are starting to rack up quite quickly on these units now. 136, 129, 153, and 127 kills on my Thracian Royal Cavalry. But while they're pulling out these units, these Galatian Royal Guard who have an attack order on my cavalry are going to get easy kills. So again, I'm going to charge in with my Thracian horsemen, again bogging them down. and then I'm going to cycle charge with some more of my units. But I think my general is starting to waver here. No, yeah, my general recently died, which is huge. But again, going to charge in, going to rear charge. The fact that I am able to get rear charge penalties onto his units means that they're going to all have orange morale. Meanwhile, my units are still at green because a lot of them still have pretty decent amount of units. Half strength Thracian Royal Cavalry. You can see they've got a double experience chevron here, 148 kills. My general as well getting 168 kills. One of his Galatian Royal Guard is starting to waver here because they got attacked in the rear. Very smart move here. He's popping Headhunt, but he's popped it a bit too late. I think they still don't have the extra base morale. You need to wait, I think, 20 to 30 seconds before the second phase pops in, which is when they get unbreakable morale. My general, meanwhile, is starting to waver because of casualty sustained. I'm going to rear charge his units with my other Galatian, Thracian Royal Cavalry, but his this unit actually has 353 base morale, basically unbreakable at this point. I'm going to come in, charge with my other depleted Thracian Cavalry here, bog down his units, and charge in with whatever few Thracian Royal Cavalry I have left. It doesn't look like it's going to go in my favor at this point. 28 units left, but they are starting to rack up a lot of kills. All I'm going to do is just keep charging in. I'm going to sacrifice my general here. He only has 6 units left, but he's got a lot of kills on some really high value units. He's popped Headhunt at the same time on all 3 of his units, but too late for one of his units. They're starting to waver. I'm going to charge into the other unit while the first phase is still on. So maybe they're still steady, so they're not going to waver at this point. So by then Headhunt, the second phase will pop in. Yep, there they go. So they're not going to rout now. But the unit that has exhausted his Headhunt and is also exhausted fatigue wise is actually in pretty low morale. Only 25 units left. I only have one Thracian Royal Cavalry at this point, but he has used up all of his Headhunt at the same time, which is pretty critical, I'd say. All of his units are exhausted at this point. My units are exhausted as well, but his units are going to start wavering because I have rear charged them. And at this point, it definitely doesn't look like it's going to go in my favor. It's still 1 unit versus 2. And the Thracian Royal Cavalry don't have many units left, but you can see they're starting to waver. Just the weird morale mechanics of Rome 2 coming into play here. He's popped Shield Wall now, but it's not going to be enough because they don't have access to Headhunt. And somehow I've managed to win the game. Costly victory to me. Just a really strange battle. I'm not really sure how I won it. My Thracian nobles did brilliantly, but again, that's mainly because my Thracian bowmen did the bulk of the killing, depleted a lot of HP from these Royal Thorax swordsmen, and then my Thracian nobles came in to finish them off. His Galatian Royal Guard did very well. Some of his Galatian swordsmen actually did quite well, but my Thracian warriors also did okay. I mean, considering the fact that he used his Egyptian infantry very well to screen off my Thracian warriors and then charged in with Galatian swordsmen, you would expect these units to do a lot better. But then the great melee attack that these Thracian warriors have then came into play. Egyptian cavalry did pretty well, 199 kills with one, 81 with the other. In comparison, my Thracian horsemen didn't really do too much, but again, the bulk of the killing was done by my Thracian Royal Cavalry, and in that sense, they did really well. I really like these units, and they're criminally underrated by many players. 15 bonus versus cavalry makes them very good in an anti-cav role. Their excellent charge bonus and melee attack make them very versatile and can easily punch a hole through an enemy's infantry line. So in that sense, very good units, and I would highly recommend people to take them. Anyways, guys, that's the end of this battle. Hope you enjoyed it and stay tuned for more. Peace.